Goes way back into the 60s. This was a piece of raw land, about 310 acres. It was purchased by Dayton Tire, who built a tire manufacturing plant here. It stayed a tire manufacturing plant until about 2005 or so, which it was then determined because of the popularity with 20-inch tires, 22-inch tires. They were making 14, 13, 15-inch tires here, and the cost to retool it was going to be cost prohibitive. So they shuttered the plant and idled the employees, and then the property came on the market for sale. It was purchased a couple of years later. Well, actually came on the market about 2007. A couple of years later, it was purchased by Big Industrial, and they are a large building developer, repositioninger, redeveloper type from Kansas City, and they purchased it for a small amount of money, considering typical market conditions. Because of the size and scale of the project, it was a 2.5 million square foot facility, partly used for manufacturing, partly used for distribution. So they owned it for a couple of years, and it was purchased, half of it was purchased by Producers Co-op. They bought 1,100,000 square feet on 164 acres. The idea, I think, at the time was they were going to actually move their facilities out here to Southwest 29th and Council Road. Subsequent to their purchase, they made a determination that it was not the right facility for what they did, and so the plant was never occupied by Producers Cooperative, and they determined that it might be best to sell it. When they did, there was a lot of talk about whether the facility was so out of date, so functionally obsolete, so in disrepair. Was the building worth anything? Could somebody use it? I thought that somebody could, but I was wrong. The roof was in deplorable condition. We had a lot of prospects from all over the country that came to Oklahoma City to tour this plant, and we went on a lot of tours when the plant was still up and operational. But after multiple tours and feedback that we got from the market, we determined that actually it would be better to demo the building and just sell the raw land, because it's a fantastic location close to the interstate, and so that's what we determined would be the best way to move forward with it and to try to get the highest and best value. In the most recent transaction, Producers Co-op sold it back to Big Industrial, who is the neighbor. Since Producers Co-op only bought half the property, it's always really good and very to contact the people that are around your property, adjacent to it, adjoining property, and so we did, and they said they would have an interest in purchasing it for future expansion of their facilities here.
Now, how unusual is it for a piece like this to go back and forth that way?
It's not typical, but this property is not typical. I mean, it's so huge in scale, and so many unique factors about it. It just was a unique deal from the very beginning.
Now tell me what we're looking at here behind you. It's all that's left, isn't it?
Yeah, behind us is what's left of the building. There's a slab there. There's actually the west or the east wall is still remaining, because it was actually put up recently when they separated the buildings, when Big Industrial separated the buildings. And then this is the section of the building down here that was in very, very good condition, and so they kept it up with the idea that they may want to come in and actually build another building, build multiple buildings potentially on this site. So they have the slab in place, and they have a couple of half structures, if you will, that they could use for completing and leasing to tenants, as a building. So they have some work done on some buildings out here already.
Now, Producers Cooperative did this, but they didn't just knock the building down and haul it off, did they? What did they do?
No, the Producers Cooperative hired a demolition company to come out and tear the building down. They actually received several bids. And then what became obvious is that the plant had a lot of very good materials in it that were still there. Some equipment like transformers and backup generators, and a lot of copper wiring, and a lot of heavy steel gauges for columns. And all that stuff could be harvested and recycled, even down to the concrete walls, which are now crushed and a part of the on the scene right now. But
And
they
that
were
was full?
successful in doing that, so they were able to tear down the building without having to spend money to get it done, which is very, very unusual. Usually demo projects have a price tag, but
And
we were able to recycle so much of it that they were able to.
About half of it was recycled, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
And the company that did it was, the recycling company, or the demolition company, was Full Metal Demolition out of Plano, Texas.
That's correct.